Movement is very important in games. You need it to make sure your character can move nice and smoothly across the screen to collect an item or to beat the game. But there are many ways you can code movement, and there are two main ways for you to code it. But which one seems to be the better way of coding? So get ready for this breakdown on how to code your game with the best movement you can. I'm Mo, and I'll take it on to Dylan. Why, thank you, Mo, for that nice intro for everyone. And now that we got you viewers together, let's get into this video. We're gonna first start off with option 1. So option 1 of making movement is by going into the events and using the one key is pressed, and then I'm going to select up arrow here and then go into motion and hitting the motion change Y so that it moves up, and then I'll just do that with all the others. And now that we got those 4 coded in, and if we look at our Scratch Cat, we will see that he does move around. How it works is the event blocks when the input up arrow comes, it plays the code change Y by 10. Pretty basic stuff. So where would you use this for exactly? So this way of coding is a very good way if you want to make a quick script, and it is very good for if you just want to do a simple test. It also keeps your code really simple and easy to code and understand. However, as you might have seen, whenever you hit an arrow, it moves a bit and then it stops a bit before it keeps going. So it's a bit janky. It's also not very easy to control. You can press it whenever. You can see this, if I added just a simple, let's say we have a forever loop that simply changes the color. If I hit the green flag, you see his color changing a lot, and I can move him around. But if I hit stop, suddenly he stops changing color. Let's say that's the rest of the game and everything else is running like that, but I can still move the character even though most of the code isn't running, since it's using event blocks. There are different ways you can code this, there are also ways for you to stop it from being janky, which is if you go into control and repeat until it goes into not pressing that key. So it keeps running it until you're not pressing it anymore, which you will see gets rid of the jank. But this is a lot harder to manage, especially since they're all loose pieces of code, and you can still move it even if other scripts aren't running, since they're using still event blocks. Let's move on to option 2. The second option is the option of, instead of using event blocks, is using if statements. So I will go in, and so if I take when green flagged and forever, and then I make an if statement for each possible input, put the sensing blocks for each key, and left arrow, and then I finally just go to the motions and put the corresponding motion blocks. And then finally put it all in the forever loop. And now if I press the arrow keys without hitting the green flag, Scratch Cat does not move. Now after I had put the code in, if I try hitting the arrow keys without pressing the green flag, he's not moving. But then if I hit green flag, now he starts zipping around by using those arrow keys until I hit the stop button, and then I can't move him anymore. How this works is simply just checks if a key is being pressed, and then it changes the Y or X accordingly for all of these heading down, and it loops back around. So this is used more in more finalized projects, as it allows more control over what the player can do when they can do it. For example, you can have it so that, let's see, if I receive a mess, I have another sprite and he says, let's say there's a cutscene in this game. So you can have it so when it receives the cutscene, it can stop other scripts and sprites, so it will stop the movement and stop you from moving, and then you can put in code for a cutscene and then just have some code to have this start up again. But very, very much more easy to control when and where the Scratch Cat can move. It is also, as you noticed, already automatically smooth because it's using that loop and checking so many times. Instead of just waiting for an if to happen, it's instead always checking. The downsides to this is a lot longer to code, as there's different ways you could code it. You could have it with different ones in front, depending. You can also have it so that you could use custom blocks. If you want to know about custom blocks, I've made a video about custom blocks. Just check out the corner over there, and you can hit that if you're curious about custom blocks. So here's an example of using a variation using custom blocks, which makes it more organized in case you want to put more stuff in forever loops. And this is just a side thing, but keeping everything in a forever loop or just a common forever loop for everything to draw back to is very good, instead of having multiple forever loops for each thing unless you absolutely have to. But you can see right here, I can also more quickly edit how much I want to move. Let's say I think it is moving way too fast across the screen, so I can simply change this to 5 maybe. You can see it hooks up to this input, and these inputs are put in here. These join minus with steps is to make sure the numbers are negative, so there's no bugs. Now he moves at half the speed. There's a lot more you can do with these than you can with event blocks, but they are a lot longer to set up and code. Now it's time to answer the burning question: which is better and which one should you indefinitely use? Which is probably what you're thinking, but it all depends on the situation. Option 1 allows you to more quickly and easily script something really quickly if you want to quickly test something. Like if you want to test if the Scratch Cat will make a noise when he touches a star or whatever. But it's great for quick testing, but when you're developing the game. But option 2 is a lot more finalized and is a lot better if you're gonna, once you're done, making it a permanent script. Well, option 1 is better to change later once you got everything that you wanted to test all there and ready. Honestly, my personal choice is option 2, using the if statements. I just find it a lot better, and also I don't like the jankiness of the event blocks. And I just like having more control over what the player can do and get to the finalized version as quickly as possible. But this part is all up to personal preference and to do the final determination. So if you just test out with both, see which one you like, and you can stick with that. These are just recommendations, and you don't have to take them too seriously, but it just gives you a better view of which one should you use. That's all for me, so see you in the next video.